Laura Kuenssberg thinks that Keir Starmer and Rachel Reeves have failed already, despite the fact that they've only been in power for 3 weeks, or 4 weeks by the time this video gets released.
One of the things that's been striking to me is that there is nothing that Rachel Reeves and Keir Starmer are doing right now that will put money in the pockets of the poorest people in the country. Nothing. Their reform to public services, more NHS appointments, getting planning decisions going, reforming the economy, all of those things may or may not yield fruit that people will feel the benefit from. But there is nothing immediate for people who have suffered the most or are having the hardest time. And I'm not saying that to be critical.
It is still July.
It's still July, but for a Labour Chancellor to be in that position when we know how much people in the country have struggled in the last few years is something, it's not comfortable for her.
We were really clear during the election that we were not going to make spending commitments without being able to say where the money was going to come from. And if I said to you now, we're going to make those changes this year or next year or the year after, you would rightly say, where's the money going to come from that? If we're not able to say where the money is going to come from, we can't promise to do it.
You've got former people like former Chancellor, former Prime Minister Gordon Brown speaking out all the time about what he would call destitution in Britain in the 2020s. And I think there's definitely a vulnerability for her as a politician, as a Labour politician in that particular place.
How on earth did Laura Kuenssberg become a journalist in the first place? That is the question on everybody's lips. We get it, okay? We've seen over many years that Laura Kuenssberg has always treated non-Tory members differently to Tory members. She's always treated Tory ministers with a distinct difference in comparison to her Labour counterparts, from their Labour counterparts. But now Labour have taken the charge and Keir Starmer is now the Prime Minister. It seems that she has become more critical. Can you believe it, people? She has become more critical of Labour than she already was. It's like, Labour's only been in power for a few weeks, but Laura Kuenssberg proclaims that they've already failed voters, despite the fact they've only been in power for 4 weeks. I get it, okay? I'm not an expert. I'm not a journalist. What is my place to criticise the way that journalists such as Laura Kuenssberg operates themselves, conducts themselves in the places in society that they hold? How can you judge Rachel Reeves and Keir Starmer for doing a bad job? They've not even released a budget. Surely you can't say that they've not put any money in people's pockets before they do an actual budget. You can't moan that they haven't put money in people's pockets before they've even released a budget. Surely Laura Kuenssberg can. I don't know. Why doesn't Rachel Reeves do a mini budget like Liz Truss did in that fateful September with Quasimodo, Kamaquazi. Some of the nicknames he had was incredible. The internet can be incredible for producing outstanding memes. But no. The new government, this current government, has to work with the funds allocated to them by the previous government until a new budget is announced. They can't just go, you know what, let's give you 10 quid, people, 10 quid to everybody. Where from? We don't know. Just take it. We'll think about it later. So when this budget is announced, which will most likely be in autumn, which it always is every year, Rachel Reeves will then allocate new funding for all the different departments, which will then put money in people's pockets if that's what they decide to do. So for Laura Kuenssberg just to come out and say, they're not putting money in people's pockets, they failed already. Little bit premature, I think we can say. But hey-ho, Laura Kuenssberg is not a classy individual. She'll trash them before they've even announced a budget or even conducted themselves through a budget in the Commons. From what I understand with the government, you can't just spend money ad hoc unless it's a national emergency or a terrorist attack. These things have to be outlined in a budget and allocated to different departments, which then gets allocated to peasants like me or you. Please, sir, I want more. Hello there, you can't get any more. Please, sir, just give me a bit more. That was my audition for the Oliver Twist play. Safe to say I didn't get it. While some people may treat homelessness as emergencies or lack of housing as an emergency or rent controls as emergencies, the government does not. So you really can't say, as Laura Kuenssberg did, that Labour, with Keir Starmer and Rachel Reeves at the helm, hasn't put money in people's pockets because it is misguided, it is premature, and you can't really say anything about not putting money in people's pockets until the autumn budget, which will be in autumn. But I'm sure that's because we've chosen option 2 on the ballot paper this year instead of option 1. Here, it's Sophie's choice, but she's already chosen, so it's got to be the other one then, hasn't it? That's basically all UK politics is. A bad place or a bad place. There's no real alternative. But I hope that Rachel Reeves fulfills all the promises, all the expectations that people held towards a new Labour government, and that she will help out the honest man, the honest working man. Can I say man? The honest working them. The honest working human who deserves happiness, even though they should be higher in society and it's their own fault that they are not. But anyway, I've been Jake from Just Jake. If you've liked the video, subscribe to the channel. Why not? But I'm a nice guy. But yeah, what do you think? Tell me what you think. Do you think Laura Kuenssberg is overly critical towards Labour than she is Conservatives? Tell me what you think in the comments. As always, I've been Jake from Just Jake, and make love, not war, because war gets you in favour with Laura Kuenssberg. You actually made it to the end of the video. If you would like to subscribe to the channel, which, why haven't you already, is somewhere over there. And also, if you want to watch more videos, also check out over there. I've been Jake from Just Jake. See you later.